Okay, so I'm getting ready to do this build, and the piece of wood that I chose is this. And I wanted to ask you, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see this piece of wood? If it's ent penis, then you're a little weird, but we can be friends. As always, we are going to start with the drainage layer. So the rule of thumb is your drainage plus your soil should be 1/3 of the total container. So after soil, that should put me up to here. That's generally where I keep it, but you know what? I stopped measuring it. You want your leca to cover the entire bottom, right? With a little bit of extra. If you're a little more or a little less, I've literally never found a problem with it. I mean, you can get all technical about it, but I really have never seen a problem with all of my projects. So I'm gonna go ahead and just leave that little layer in, throw in my screen, and get busy. So my aeroid mix is here. It's really just cocoa coir, orchid bark, perlite, some lava rock, and then I'll throw in some charcoal every now and again too. Some pieces of charcoal, which is right here. And then, I'm not just gonna use this though. I like to mix in Reptisoil. I think I've referenced Reptisoil in all of my builds. So in my Reptisoil bin, I'm gonna take it out. And I'm just gonna throw some of that in. And then I'll use Reptisoil as kind of like a topper sometimes too, or as a base for my moss to grow on, because it looks cooler. I don't like the way the aeroid mix looks. It just looks too chunky. So I'll throw this on top to make it look better. And I'm gonna carefully do the edges first. In my last build, I actually did spill a little bit into the drainage layer, which drives me crazy. So I'm gonna be a little more precise this time around. Once you get the edges in, it's a free-for-all, but measure once, cut twice. Get a little more dirt in there to play with. Right in the middle. All right, and I can start making sure my edges are all good. Pushing those down. Okay, my drainage layer barrier is now perfect. Nothing's gonna get through here. So I can start dumping the soil in liberally. So I think I'm going to wind up having about 1/3 of the jar, like I said, but an important thing to remember is you need to angle your dirt towards the back, which I'm not doing here. I just wanted to see how the stick sets in there, which was a nightmare, by the way. It took me forever. I wound up having to cut, as you see. So I sawed that off, and then it fit fine, but once I start planting, that's when I realized that I'm gonna angle this thing up like a mountain. And it came out pretty cool, I think, once the fern got in there, as you'll see in a minute. But the wood really was a pain because I love the shape of it, as we well know. But yeah, the top of it kept hitting the top of the jar, so it was annoying me. But once I got this fern in here and I realized this is my signature plant, like this is going to overlook and oversee the entire wilderness, I had to get this thing up high. And what's really cool about this is as you're viewing from the front, it gives it such a depth. So once the rock was in, then I knew I had something. This looks like if you were shrunk down, like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and you're walking around in here, you are climbing up that mountainscape into the trees of those ferns. You're going to climb onto that rock and overlook that cliff. And then you're going to see this massive canopy of whatever kind of tree that was, right? Some sort of ancient olive tree, it looks like. And then once I had the branch in there and I had my hardscape down, I just backfilled that thing so it looked like it was there forever. It looks like it actually kind of does look like a old olive tree branch that just dried up. All right, my new favorite tool, paintbrush. There it is again. That thing has multiple uses. I love it. All right, now with the moss, as always, this is the finishing touch. The moss makes everything look cooler, and I actually didn't overdo it this time. I only have a few signature spots with that moss. All right, so my tweezer work is getting a little better, but still, it took me, I didn't put it all in here because I didn't want to bore you, but it took me 5 or 6 tries on each of those figs. Okay guys, so I also have this purple waffle plant that I'm going to stick in here, and I call it the Meredith plant because she found this baby and we have one upstairs that just took off. I also got these mini philodendrons from Petco. Again, it kills me to support them, but they've actually stepped in their game up with plants, and it's easy for me because I live in the woods and there's nowhere to get plants. All right, the Meredith plant looks great. You can't really see it from the front, which is okay because it's a creeper. It's gonna grow up like the fern and gonna give this whole scape some color. And honestly, I pre-recorded that other one because I knew I wanted to give my lady love a shout out, and there it is. So I didn't really dig a hole for the Meredith plant. I just put the roots in and I backfilled it because I wanted the scape to have depth. I wanted you to look like you're looking up a hill. So I took the dirt in front and I backfilled. And then that side area, I just backfilled even more because I wanted that tree stump to look like that was part of the natural scape even more. And then that's just some moss. You're not really gonna see it right now, but this moss has been doing really well for me, and I think it's gonna spread throughout the back and give the springtails, and I'm gonna eventually put some isopods in there. I'm even thinking about, now that it's springtime, catching a centipede and putting it in there. Now, this is also a creeping fig, just a different variety. This one is like the easiest one in the world. I just really stick it on the dirt, keep it moist, and the roots will take off. I'm hoping that thing crawls under the tunnel and not onto the log because I want the fig leaves to creep up the log. I like my terrariums exploding with light, so I overdo it with the springtails all the time. Now, as they go in, I'm still working on the perfect close-up. I know my camera can do it. This is a fancy camera. I just haven't been able to nail it yet, but even if you look at the floor of the forest here, you're gonna see him move, which is cool. All right, guys, this is it. This is the final product. It's one of my favorites, to be honest with you. I think it has a little bit of everything, and it's one of those ones that's going to evolve. Those fig leaves are gonna crawl all over that log and make it look even more ancient. And that fern has already had to been trimmed, and it's only been a few days. But then again, I had it growing in my greenhouse, so you can't really take that to the bank with you. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and enjoy a couple more seconds of this beautiful terrarium.